Hey everyone, Dave here, and this is my ultimate minimal solo bushcraft kit for 2025. Starting with the axe. This guy here is the Hultafors Hultan Hatchet. We have a 1 pound head and a 15-inch handle. I've had this guy for at least 5 years, many years. It's gone out on me with countless overnights shelter building. I've gone winter solo camping with this guy as my main axe. It's been through a lot with me and it has not failed me. It's really good at doing some of like the finer tasks, say like making steaks, and you want to like get up, choke up close on something. A lot better than the bigger axe in my other video, the Abbey Forest axe. Plus you save weight, you save in size, and it can fit in different positions on my backpack on the outside. It can easily go inside my backpack. Super nice hatchet to have. In the comment section below, let me know your favorite axe that you like to bring out. Instead of the hatchet, sometimes I do bring out my Tarava Scrama, the only large knife that really competes with this guy. I do tend to bring that knife out more in the summer season. We are still kind of in the shoulder season, even though I'm in a t-shirt right now. It's going to be like 2 degrees Celsius tonight. So I do need to process up some decent amount of firewood. The axe is a little bit better at firewood preparation than the large knife. Though I do tend to swap between the two when I'm going for a more minimal style trip. Moving on to the main knife that I brought with me on this trip, and that is the Brisa Trapper 115 in Elmax steel. This is one of my higher quality bushcraft knives that I have. This is about the perfect size that pairs pretty well with a hatchet. It's got a decent enough blade that I can light baton, a little bit of wood. The handle is a little bit thin for a lot of people, and the biggest complaint about this knife is that the handle is too thin for people that have large hands. For me, the handle isn't that big of an issue, and I kind of like the nimble feeling of this knife. It is a little reminiscent of a Puko, one of my favorite knives in my kit for sure. The saw that I brought with me is the Silky Gomboy, which I think is one of the better folding saws available at a packable size. For me, this is like the smallest saw that I personally bring out with me, just because any saws smaller than this, they don't process up firewood very well. And you end up having to work quite hard if you're bringing smaller saws than the Silky Gomboy. So these are the 3 main cutting tools for the minimal bushcraft kit, and you don't really need much more. The only other cutting tool that I have is a folding knife inside my possibles pouch. You could add like a Swiss Army knife or a multi-tool if that's what you're into, but otherwise you kind of just need an axe, a knife, and a saw, and you're good to go. Also, I do have bear spray and a cap gun on me. A lot of the Americans made fun of me bringing a cap gun, but a lot of us in different countries, we're just, it's not super easy to bring a handgun around. You need to have special licenses and stuff. Cap guns are very effective at scaring away bears. If I could carry a handgun, I probably would, but I'm Canadian, not American. If you like the video, remember to hit that like button and click subscribe. I'll be dishing out some more content as we get later on in the year. So the bag itself is the Mardingtop 70-liter bag that was featured in my last video. I could go with smaller bags, but I want to test this guy out, so I'm bringing this one out with me, and it helps me carry around my sweatshirt and camera gear pretty well, but you could definitely go with a smaller bag if you want to. In this top pouch here, I have some gardening gloves that you find at like Home Depot or Canadian Tire, the dollar store. They're usually about $1 or $2, and these are like super effective at like preventing your hands from getting splinters. The wood out here has like these tiny little hairs, and if you don't wear gloves, they just get into your hands and they irritate you for like at least a week or something. So they have a waterproof layer, which is useful for like digging when you're messing around, building posts and getting in the mud a bit. They also like grip onto your tools a lot better, which kind of helps out with a knife like the Brisa Trapper that has a bit of a slick handle. The rubberized glove here like grips onto the slick micarta really well. You can almost hear it, right? So for $1 or $2, throw a pair of garden gloves, and they are incredibly good out here. I promise. There's a reason why they sell them, so you can do yard work. Bushcraft is like kind of similar to doing yard work, just out in the bush, right? I got a hat, which is, I always wear something on my head when I'm in the forest. I don't want like ticks on me. So if I don't have my toque, I have my hat on. Hat sheds the rain really well. And I also use my hat to clip my flashlights onto, which I'll show in a minute. I also just have my rain jacket shell and top there, so it's easy to access. In the front here, I have the survival pouch that was shown in the last video. It hasn't changed. I kind of like to carry the same stuff. I have my main survival kit here, which has like fire starters, a lighter, flashlight, spare battery, spare contact lenses, a compass, different types of pills, water purification, band-aids, tin foil, reciprocal saw with a sharp blade on it, and the saw part on it as well. I have some duct tape and medical tape, and you know, a little bit more of like gauze in here as well. And then I also have a foil mylar blanket. You should always just be carrying one of these. They're super light and easy to throw in your bag. There's no reason not to have a mylar blanket on you. I also have a contractor bag in there, and the contractor bag is pretty heavy duty. It makes good for like a really quick poncho if you have to. It can waterproof a lot of different things, and it's pretty small and packable. These are survival items in my opinion, and right there you can build shelter, keep yourself warm, purify water. You can do a lot of different things with just this little setup here. It's worth it to just have a decent survival kit handy and accessible at the front of your bag. So this pouch is removable, and I could always put this onto my belt if I wanted to leave all my stuff, you know, at camp and go hiking for an hour or two. I could always like bring the survival kit pouch with me, and maybe a water bottle, and then I still have like means of shelter and that sort of stuff. Front pouch here is pretty similar as last time. Big bag of trail mix, which is something that is super easy to bring and eat when you're out here. Always have a nice big bag of trail mix. I have my glasses case with spare set of glasses and contacts, because if I didn't have glasses on, I basically can't see. So it's very important for me to have my spare glasses. And then I just got cards, cash in this pouch here. So moving on to the side pouches here, I just have the same tarp that I brought last time out. It's a OneTigris 10 by 12 tarp. I think that if you can, you might as well bring a pretty reasonable sized tarp, because you can just do more things with it. You can bring like a 6 by 8 tarp, but why not just, you know, pack a little extra? You can do more configurations. You can have a bigger area to sleep under to protect yourself from the rain and the wind. I think it's worth it to just upgrade a tarp to like a 10 by 12 and just figure out how to use one. You can kind of see that I've rigged the tarp up in a little bit of a shell formation because I have that extra length of the 10 by 12. It gives me a nice space out front here, and it wraps around the frame where my bed is. So I'm able to hang out in here. But you can do like a 6 by 8 if you want to get particularly small and, you know, save a little bit of weight. On my more minimal trips, I don't even bring a tarp, and sometimes I just bring like painter's plastic, or I use garbage bags. I use different variations of plastic to build shelters. You know, I've also just made full natural shelters. So if you want to go even more minimal and a little bit more hardcore, you don't bring a tarp, but if it rains, good luck. So on the other side pouch, I have the cordage bag, a few hanks of paracord for shelter building and tarp lines, some mason twine, some jute twine, and some stakes for the tarp. If you wanted to save weight, you could get rid of the stakes. You could make some wood ones if you want to, but I'm lazy, right? So I just bring stakes. In here, I also have 1 liter stainless water bottle. You could bring 2 liters of water if you're hiking around a lot. I tend to bring 1 liter, and I tend to hike near water sources. I have a stream literally right behind this log over here. I bushcraft around my water sources, so I only need to bring 1 liter of water. On this trip here, I have no other means of purification except boiling and water purification tablets. So if I have to, I can throw in some tablets to get some quick, clean drinking water, or I'm boiling my water. I also have my stainless steel Stanley mug with the wire on top instead of the plastic lid. That's my main cooking pot. I only have 1 pot this trip, not 2. I have 2 front pouches on the waistband here, and it's just my 2 flashlights. I think it's good to carry like 2 small flashlights instead of just 1, just in case one fails, runs out of battery. Maybe it turns on in your bag and runs out of battery. Definitely bringing 2 flashlights. You know, they're pretty small and pretty easy to bring. I use that to attach it to my hat. The small black one here is the Through Night T1, And the other one here is the Trustfire Mini X3, both pretty good flashlights, and they're both pretty reliable. Other pouch here, I simply have like my granola bars and a protein bar, which is basically a lunch snack type of thing until I get to dinner. I also have a whistle attached to the strap of my bag, the Tops whistle from my Tops Bob. Nice powerful whistle, blah, blah, blah. Nice powerful whistle that you can use if you're hiking around, you know, fall, break your leg, whatever. You know, maybe someone will hear you. Now we can go into the main compartment, and this is another reason why I like this bag, is because you can kind of zip it open like a suitcase. So main compartment, I have like rain gear pants, my nice puffy sweatshirt because it's gonna be like 2 degrees, pretty cold tonight. This is my food bag and bear bag that we will go through in a second. I like to keep my dinners pretty simple, so I just have instant noodles like last time. I've got pre-cooked sausage and pre-cooked meatballs that like you would just find in the freezer section of your Walmart or grocery store or whatever. And this meal together is about like 1,000 calories and about 40 grams of protein. So I really only care about getting my calories and protein when I'm out here to restore my energy. My breakfast will simply be a protein bar and a granola bar. Again, it's like close-ish to like 400 calories, 400 calories, and maybe around 20-ish grams of protein. And then in here is instant coffee with a green tea bag and rooibos tea plus some coconut oil and butter so I can do bulletproof coffee in the morning. The more things you can keep simple and minimal, the better. That's why I like to opt for breakfast. I just go for a protein bar and a granola bar. I don't have to cook anything. I just got to heat up some coffee and I'm good to go in the morning. Hide kind of leather gloves for the fire. This is just an Amazon purchase, a Sleep and Go. I've had a different brand of this before and they aren't the most durable. I've definitely popped them before, but they are very small and compact and they do just enough to give you some loft. And I already made a bed here, so having a smaller compact sleeping pad, you know, just cuts down on the bulk in the backpack. This is what the air pad looks like. It's very minimal and it kind of just blows up in these pockets here. It's very thin though, so it is something that like if I do use this, I like to build a bush bed underneath to get myself off the ground a bit more. It does make for a comfortable sleep, but they're not very durable. So if you guys have any suggestions of better sleeping pads, let me know because I do like the packability of this style. On some of my more intense minimal trips, I don't bring a sleeping pad at all and I just use a bush bed that I've made myself. But it's definitely a better sleep using a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag. The sleeping bag is the same sleeping bag, Mountain Warehouse, that goes down to about -4 degrees. Back pouch here, the trusty knee pad that I should be using right now. And in this back pouch here, we have my Possibles pouch, which I'll go through. The Possibles pouch is pretty much the same as last time. I don't change this up too much. I do have my toilet paper in there, which it should probably be with the survival kit stuff. Jet lighter, a couple dollar store fire starters, compass whistle thermometer from Coghlan's. I have my other cutting tool, the Kizer Domin Mini, which is a nice flat grind folding knife, which basically doesn't get used. It's just in there just in case. Ferro rod with a fire starter attached to it in a waterproof container. My pocket bellow to blow on the fire. I have my little bit of a sharpening system just to touch the edge up. So a little strop and a fine diamond, I believe it's 600 grit. A couple more fire starters and some medical tape and some more mason twine and a thing to clean the camera lens or my glasses. Overall, this is a very good base to start off your minimal kit with, and it's something that you can kind of build on and use for yourself and use with your own gear in mind.